We've patiently been waiting for Funko to get into the NFT game, and yesterday they announced the first Funko NFT will drop today, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a Funko Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle NFT. There are 6 designs, various levels of rarity, some redeemable for limited edition physical offline Funko Pops. We are expecting these to be sold out this afternoon. But what does it all mean for Funko's stock? The last time we talked about Funko, March 23rd, I revealed that I bought options based on the early news that Funko was getting into NFTs. Chris bought $1 million worth of Funko, and it was a good play. The stock went up more than 50% by May 17th. But then it's been on a bit of a downtrend. As of today, down about 25% from that May 17th high. So today on Dumb Money, we are going to see if Turtles in a Half Shell NFTs are going to get this normally high-flying stock back on track. We're going to dig into the data, we're going to check the social channels, and we're going to reveal our $1 million Funko trade. We are Dumb Money.
3 friends who turned $30,000 into $30 million using nothing more than Twitter and a zero-commission trading account.
The suits that work on Wall Street, they call those people the smart money. That's not us.
Our goal is to help level the playing field for everyday investors.
We are Dumb Money.
Hey there, Dave here, along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. I do want to get right into Funko, but first, I need to remind you to tap the like button. Help us with the almighty YouTube algorithm. It is free to click, and speaking of free, today we are going to be covering a report by one of our community members on the Dumb Money Discord, and you can be a part of that community. It is also completely free. dumbmoney.tv/Discord is how to be a part of that. Chris, Jordan, this report submitted by a community member who goes by the name Investire Congus says that the three of us underestimated Funko and various interesting facts about Funko in the video that we made a few months ago. And so for the record, I bought my options at $2.40 and sold them the same day for $5 because I was happy with a one-day doubling of my money. But I'm wondering, is now the time to get back into Funko?
Dave, you know, back when I bought that $1 million of Funko, I held it for a while. I recently sold it due to the delay in the NFT launch. I was actually pretty surprised when they announced this last weekend that they were going to release the Series 1 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NFT drop this week. I was shocked, and I immediately got back into Funko. This is obviously what I've been waiting for. I've been on the Wax community Discord, which is their partner from the NFT launch, trying to gauge interest. While somewhat controversial among the Funko collecting crowd. Some people don't believe in NFTs. They don't understand them. They don't like that Funko's getting into them. Interest is still sky high. They did this test, stress test yesterday, guys, and they had well over 30,000 people, it looks like, in queue for the stress test. Now, let me just explain what...
Did you get in on that stress test? I know they gave away some kind of a token just to see how the system worked.
I did not, Dave. I'm in California on family vacation here at my in-laws' house, and I didn't have time. But I will definitely be part of the release today, the actual release today. And let's just break this down so people understand. This episode's not just about the NFT release, by the way. This Funko trade for me is about way more than the NFT release, and we'll explain that. But I think it's really important to understand what the NFT release is. They're actually releasing 30,000 packs, digital packs. 10,000 of them are premium packs that have 17 cards that will cost $29, $30 basically.
$29.99.
Yeah, 99. Another 20,000 packs will just be regular packs with a couple less cards, only 15 cards. Only 5 cards. So you would have to buy, those are cost $10 each, $9.99. So if you buy 3 of those, you get a slight volume break by getting the premium pack. But what this all comes down to is they will sell $500,000 of packs today. Now, some people are like, oh, that's not really a big deal. But understand this, these are going to be weekly releases. And this is the very first. So there's no telling how much Funko increases the volume of these weekly packs. But let's just say that they eventually increase the volume of packs to where they can make $1 million a week, right? That's $52 million a year. What's most important about that is margins. Funko has really thin margins. It's a company that has to license all of its products. I don't know exactly what margins are here. I think there's been a little bit of discussion with the analyst community. I'm going to just throw a number out. I'm going to think margins are going to be right in about the 60% range here. They still have to pay a pretty hefty license fee call it 17, 18%. There's still costs of doing business here, but I think they can get those margins in the 60% range. So this is a product that could theoretically add tens of millions of dollars of bottom line profit to a company that only makes tens of millions of dollars of bottom line profit, right? So you could theoretically double the net income of the company or better over the next couple of years just with this NFT strategy alone. So to me, it does pass the needle mover test. I think the hype is going to be extraordinary for this launch and probably all other launches that they do based on my analysis of just the demand of NFT Funko relative to the size of the number and volume of packs they have to release. I think it's really a matter of do they sell out in 30 seconds or 30 minutes, like week by week, right? So it's almost
well, and I know that they're also limiting the purchase. So you can only buy $300 worth at a time, and you can make multiple transactions, but it's $300 at a time. I set up my Wax account. I learned what Wax even was. Are you considering buying some of these opening day?
Oh, I'll buy as many as I can get, but I don't think I'll be able to buy any because the reality is demand will far supersede supply. Can you hear me? Is it just my face getting digitized? Can you hear my audio?
Yeah, you started cutting out, but we can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be able to get these. There'll likely be a lot of bots that get them, unfortunately, and that does create anger. They'll have to work on that. It's already a big topic in the Wax Discord. But demand will outstrip supply. That's why I'm in Funko. I think this is a guaranteed win for Funko. Absolute crushing guaranteed win. I think the way they structure the packs is genius. They gamified it so that you could actually collect. You're actually incentivized to collect as many packs as you can and then trade them on the secondary market, which I can't say for sure, but I believe Funko gets a piece of every transaction on the secondary market as well. And the whole goal is to get a physical exclusive pack, right? And the only way you can get a physical pack, I think there's 1 out of 75 or 1 out of every 150 get physical packs, depending on the rarity. And then you could also collect all 96 digital cards and exchange those for a physical, non-physical pack, for a physical Funko Pop, so there's like a 1 in 75 chance of getting a physical Funko Pop from a card. So you're unlikely to do that, but there's things you can do to trade around and collect all the cards to get it that way. So yeah, that's a great graphic of how the entire system works. It's genius. It's basically modeled very similar to Top Shots, which, as we all know, is a huge success. I actually think the Funko universe far supersedes basketball and Top Shots when you combine all the amazing licenses they're likely to bring into this world. I mean, just imagine if Funko actually was able to get, Pokemon NFT license, right, for Pokemon Pops, which they very well might be able to. They have a close relationship that's building with Nintendo, obviously one of the closest relationships around with Disney. Funko's a powerhouse in licensing, man. No one has the license types of deals that Funko has in the NFT space. They're already hooked up and licensed with basically every major brand in the world, novelty brand. So I think this is an underlooked NFT launch. I think even if you're not really a big NFT fan, this extends well beyond NFT because there's a physical pop component, and a lot of Funko collectors want to get the ultra rares, and the only way to get them is to play this really fun game with NFTs, basically. So don't think of it as a normal NFT strategy. Think of it as a digital game to get Funko Pops. And I think man, I'm just telling you, the demand it's insatiable.
And we were saying, that would be what they needed to do. They need to figure out a strategy that makes it a fun collectible so that you're not just buying this digital thing that you really can't do other than look at it, but anyone can look at them because they're, publicly visible on their website. So the whole collect and be able to redeem and all of that is fun, and it kind of sets the precedent for what they can do with all of their brands, right? And so I don't know if this partnership with Wax is an ongoing thing where they're going to do a similar strategy with other intellectual property from other brands, or is that kind of a one-off and they're going to kind of redesign it for each program?
No, Dave, it's a weekly release is what they initially said. So they would have a different series every week. So they might do a few different weeks of series with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they might switch to another property. As you know, Funko has license deals with like everyone from like Harry Potter, like just keep going down the line, right? So if they can pull off 52 releases over the next year, it's 52. This is a big deal. I've been saying since the beginning. I think Funko has an opportunity to like be one of the largest NFT platforms out there in terms of like NFT project creators. I think this is a huge deal, underlooked by the market who doesn't really understand NFT. NFTs softened for a little bit, but man, what a week to be releasing an NFT after what happened this last week, guys, with the crypto punks. I mean, for those of y'all who don't know, I have 3 crypto punks. Everyone laughed at me when I bought them. They thought I was being ridiculous. I think one of them was quoted this week by a friend that knows the punk market really well. Thinks I can get 3 to 350,000 for one of my punks. Thinks I can get upwards of 150,000 for another punk, and probably 6 figures for the other. So I'm upwards. I have like $500,000 of punks, and I spent like 100K on those punks. Just over 100K, maybe 110, 120. So it looks like it's about a 4xer for me right now in the CryptoPunk little trade investment. That,
What
by
is
the
your
way,
exit strategy on CryptoPunks?
Talk to me in 10 years.
You're hodling the crypto punks.
Yeah. I'm not a hodler. I don't believe in hodling in that sense. But I believe it is a long-term arb trade, right? Based on the digitization of the collectibles industry, and having one of the very first NFTs. I like the scarcity in it. I like the brand behind it. I like everything about CryptoPunks. As I've said in previous episodes, it's not a huge part of my. Well, it's going to be a bigger part of my portfolio now if these prices hang in there. I have no idea. I'm sure they'll come back down, but I do like. I've been waiting. Funko for me was my big play on NFT. I mean, I've always said this. Funko is my play on NFT because I can play it my way through the stock. But I do want to say, guys, this is not just about. And I know Jordan, you have limited time. I want to get your opinion on all this. But I think this is a lot more, even for someone like yourself who doesn't really love the NFT game. This is a lot more than NFT. Let me tell you, like Funko, all the data on Funko has been exceptionally strong the last quarter. Whether you look at search traffic, whether you look at web stats, whether you look at social viral campaigns, I think the Loki Funko Pop, which was recently announced. I don't know if you're familiar with the Loki series on Disney. It's an absolute blockbuster. We're talking here about maybe what could be one of the biggest series ever in terms of fandom, right? People are just completely obsessed with this Loki series. And the Funko Pops are like selling out in advance. They're not even released until next month. And the hype on them is incredible. In fact, if you pull up a Google search trends chart, I think one of the most popular Funko Pop the last few years has been the Yoda. So if you do like Yoda Funko and you do Loki Funko, you'll see that it's not that far off from the first spike that Yoda had a couple of years ago with the Yoda Funko. So, I mean, this is just an incredible release. And I think that I see this as a massive, tailwind for Funko going into next quarter. Also, we have all the new movies coming out now through 2022 that we all know has been maybe the biggest tailwind for Funko coming out of the pandemic. On top of that, a large part of Funko sales historically have been retail stores, and they have had to do without that for the past year, and they've crushed it with Funko.com. But now all the retail stores are opening, as we've seen and he mentions this in the report, so kudos to what well-done report. But Mattel and Hasbro basically came out and said that like 99% of the toy stores are open now. And that means that 99% of Funko's shops that sell Funko are opening up. And the reopening is a positive for Funko's retail business. Not to mention the fact that one of the most impressive data points on Funko right now is Europe. Funko Europe is a brand new .com for them, FunkoEurope.com. And I was looking at web stats on Funko Europe. It's crushing. I mean, Funko Europe is absolutely crushing. So this is a company that's going through global expansion. They're digitizing their European expansion beautifully with their web domain over there. They're also benefiting from the tailwind of the recovery. Now that we see road bumps with D variant, right? Like all of our other recovery stocks, but for the most part, people are going out and they're going to get a tailwind from that. They have a tailwind from more brands, more shows happening that they can develop content around the next 18 months. And it looks like they have one of the strongest pops they've ever made with this Loki pop, with the Loki series of pops. It's incredible. And then we have the NFT launch, which is the kind of the spark that made me really get excited about Funko for the first time in a long time. So I just see this as a lot of variables. I feel pretty good. It's, $1 million investment for me, as we all know, is not like crazy. But it's not, it's still a meaningful investment. I feel pretty good about it. But Jordan, hearing all this,
I want to hear, because Jordan's been the most
think?
bearish on NFTs in general, right? What do you think this does for Funko?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've got a super strong opinion here because I don't understand the space as well as maybe, Chris or other people do. I think I like what I hear about the way that they're utilizing NFTs to drive interest beyond just the NFT itself. So I think that's probably a positive development. Look, I mean, they're a toy maker. I think if we've got a good run of interest in some of these toys for collectors, that maybe there's some upside in the stock. I don't have a huge opinion on this one either way, and so I would default to Chris on this. I think Chris understands it pretty well. I'm not super excited about NFTs in general, right? But I do think they've got a unique spin on the NFT, and I think they're going to use them in a way that is going to be good for their company.
Yeah, I feel like NFTs went through this wave of like, it was all anyone was talking about for months, and then you just kind of stopped hearing about it. And now we're starting to have a resurgence with the crypto punks doing what they're doing, and now this NFT launch from Funko. Are we going to have this next wave of NFTs in the headlines? Is Beeple working on something? Is there some other big brand that is also like going to tie itself to an NFT and get that conversation going again?
Yeah, listen, my friends Bobby and Ben Hundreds, they're coming out with their NFT in a couple of weeks for the Hundreds brand. There are a lot of NFT projects that are super exciting and actually super legit, coming from people like the Hundreds who really care about community and they're trying to do the right thing. Like I think the NFT market will come back. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs. But Jordan, I thought for you, I thought Funko. I know you don't really buy actual NFTs, but Funko could be a great way to express an investment on a company that's doing what I think will be a better job of commercializing the NFT market without having to get involved with buying NFTs.
Yeah,
like,
sure. Look,
I'm
not against buying some Funko to see. I mean, because you're right. I mean, they're diversified, right? So they've got their pops. They've got this NFT that then leads to a game that then leads to physical goods.
Lots of tailwinds.
And they're expanding beyond the pops too. And they've got, like you said, they've got tons of license agreements, and they've got relationships with pretty much every brand.
Jordan, we got to talk about back to school because this is not our back to school episode per se.
Yeah,
Funko is going to be. It's one of the big beneficiaries of what everyone's anticipating to be a larger than normal potential back to school. Maybe we'll see with Delta variant season for backpacks and lunch boxes because Funko Loungefly is a big growth area for them. You know what? I'm going to say something right now. I'm actually super impressed. I've been watching Loungefly since it launched, and like Loungefly is no joke. Like they actually are producing some of the most interesting, high quality, licensed Disney type bags, like these mini backpacks. Like they're selling these things for $50 to $90 a bag, and they're selling out a lot of them. It's really impressive the brand that they're building with Loungefly in the backpack space. And if you think back to school is bigger than normal this year, now I've been watching G Trends on backpack, and it hasn't really impressed me. It's better than last year, obviously, but I'm not really seeing 2018, 2019 search traffic yet for backpacks. So I'm not exactly sure how big it will be, but it certainly is going to be bigger than last year, right? So like it's certainly they're going to have a bigger year at Loungefly than last year. And it could be equivalent to a normal year. So yeah, Loungefly is hot, guys, and their bags. You look at them on Amazon, they're getting great reviews, like 5-star. like close to 5-star ratings across Amazon. Really impressed with the Loungefly line. I think it's like, I want to say it's like 10% plus of their revenue now, and growing, quickly growing. And it's a global, like I said, it's a global licensed brand.
And just looking at the G trends on the word backpack, we are not we're like a 71 the last week of July, where last year the last week of July it was an 83. So
2 years. That's 2 years ago.
2 years ago. I mean, yes, we didn't have anything last year, but we see that it hits 100, and it hit 100 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and the last week in July it was not quite at its peak, but we are lower than that right now. So if that says anything, it's a little lower than normal.
But remember, Dave, Funko had an amazing year last year, even with the complete nothing of backpack. But search Loungefly, Dave. Just search Loungefly on G Trends, because it's a really interesting graph. It's starting to develop. It's starting to get its own brand following. Loungefly, and people are starting to actively search for it more and more. And then I also want to talk about a couple points from this report that, we're not. That's Loungefly. So really impressive lift there, right? Year over year, and since 2019. One thing that was mentioned, and by the way, guys, we will discuss Robinhood. Jordan might have to tail out of here in a minute, but we will discuss Robinhood and Tap, okay, this episode ends. There's Masters of the Universe, guys, came out on Netflix on July 23rd, and I was talking about Loki being a big Funko Pop. Masters of the Universe is really the series that the author of this report in Discord spent a lot of time focused on, and he's saying these things are selling out, and they're like, some of these pops are expensive too, and they are hot. It's Masters of the Universe.
And look at the G trend for Masters of the Universe. I mean, there's really no reason you would have searched for it for the past 5 years, but it's just off the charts now.
Well, you got to compare it to a benchmark, to be fair. I always like comparing these things to Stranger Things, because Stranger Things is like the ultimate high benchmark, right? So I compared like Loki to Stranger Things. And like, if it gets anywhere near Stranger Things level, it's legit.
And it's not.
At least in terms, it's not. At least
neither Loki or Masters of the Universe.
Well, actually, Loki, Dave, is almost at like 2/3 of the initial Stranger Things spikes, which is pretty impressive for a brand new series. So, and again, Loki is still kind of picking up steam. So, like Loki, that pop on Loki is not done yet, and if you look at it, it's pretty darn impressive compared to Stranger Things when it first came out. So yeah, Loki's a big deal. Masters of the Universe for Funko is a really big deal as well. So, like I said, I think there's a lot of tailwinds. By the way, we're not financial advisors. This is our strategy. This is for my trade. I would do your own homework, poke holes in our thesis. We don't want to give you financial advice because we don't know what your risk tolerance is, and we wouldn't do that anyway. But hang out in our Discord, dumbmoney.tv and dumbmoney.tv/Discord. Let's have a chat about these things. By the way, should our fund invest in this? We have a fund inside of Discord that invests for the community. It's the community's money. We put money in it. The community gets to take that money and do what they want with the profits. I think there's like $15,000 in that account. Every week you vote on it in Discord. So if you're not a member of our Discord, dumbmoney.tv/Discord, and if you're not a member of Public, dumbmoney.tv/public, open an account, and anything Public pays us, because you open an account through us, we take that money after taxes and put it back into the Dumb Money portfolio that you get to keep profits on and have a party with once a year or whatever. So please join our Discord and our Dumb Money. Everything's free, obviously. We don't charge money for anything at Dumb Money. Jordan, before you get out of here, I want you to have the first word on Robinhood. Since that episode, we were kind of like, it was a little bit tough for us to come out that day and have that Robinhood episode and kind of speak our mind about Robinhood, positive and negative, from New York. And, listen, both you guys decided not to sell your early Robinhood shares that you had for years. I decided to sell half mine when I have the ability to do so. I don't have them yet. Jordan, I got to file that W-9 you said today with Robinhood to get my shares.
Yes,
Is that the deal?
there was an email, and they said that they'd like to have that information by today.
Yeah,
By
I sent
today?
mine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send it today. So listen, Robinhood's up huge today.
Yeah.
I can't speak to why, but it's interesting. It's interesting that, you know, I had an assumption this is going to happen. They had a lot of pressure, a lot of negativity around the IPO, right? And people had to get that negativity out, CNBC and all the media. But after the negativity kind of, washed away, I think there are a lot of institutions that are seeing Robinhood as a generational leader in this space. Uh, and I think there's institutions that want to have some exposure to Robinhood, the same way that kind of I said, guys, I don't know if Robinhood's going to execute. I'm always afraid of waking up in the morning and figuring out what did they do wrong now. I don't know if someone else is going to come in and steal their business eventually, but everyone I talk to on the street, and I talk to a lot of people on the streets in New York wearing my Robinhood shirt, and every single one I asked them, are you an investor? When did you start investing? Who do you use? Are you going to be an investor for life? And would you stay with that broker? And every single person was like, yeah, I use Robinhood. I started investing like a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I will be an investor for the rest of my life. And yeah, I probably plan on using Robinhood for the rest of my life. And I was like, aren't you mad about everything they've done? And they're like, literally every person's like, nah, they're like growing pains or that's like, so it's interesting. Once you get past the whole FinTwit, people like in our circle who are like
Hmm.
super upset. And there are some people that are legitimately upset. They lost a lot of money with Robinhood when they wouldn't let you trade GameStop. So like, I understand the anger for sure. Like I totally get it. But there's like for every one person like that, there's probably hundreds to maybe thousands or tens of thousands that are just kind of aloof and just, like, yeah, I mean, I trade on Robinhood. I kind of heard about that stuff through the news, but I kind of don't really know about it. I kind of don't care. But yeah, wouldn't use anyone else because it's just, I don't know, I'm just on it. Because, once you start using a broker, it's kind of, most ordinary people are not looking to switch brokers every month, right? Or every year. So, Jordan,
Well,
what
look,
do you
it's a
think?
pain, right? And so I think that's the biggest bull case is that you've got this huge number of subscribers, and to be able to take an account that's already got stocks purchased in it and move it over to another broker, you've got to do a transfer in kind, and that can take days. And everybody, I mean, look, the market's either going up or it's going down. I feel like that's what people think, right? And so you need to be able to act. And it's if you pick the wrong week to do the transfer, you could miss out on certain opportunities, right? And so I think that if you're thinking that you're just going to have one account and or you've already set it up with Robinhood, it's kind of hard to switch, right? And I think that they've also got just kind of that brand momentum in that when people, especially younger people, go and start an account right now, Robinhood is one of five that they think of, and so they're going to get a certain portion of that business. And then over the next 10 years, all those account sizes are going to continue to grow. As much as it makes people mad, the stock market does normally go up over time. It has
Yeah.
fits and starts, but it generally moves up, and so and people are going to contribute more, and then those account sizes are going to go up, and then and there's more dollars then as revenue as
The
those account
wheel
sizes
keeps
grow.
turning, Jordan, right? I mean, the wheel
Yeah,
keeps turning. So it's
yeah,
kind of like love or hate Peloton. If you want to have a trade in generational connected fitness, Peloton is the go-to company. I think if you want to trade in everyone becoming an investor, we have that thesis. Everyone's an investor thesis, and what we mean by that is everyone will be an investor at some point very soon. If you believe in that
yeah,
thesis, we do at Dumb Money. We're fighting every day to make sure that happens. Robinhood is kind of an obvious go-to
right.
uh, company you would want in your portfolio for that. So that's kind of why I'm keeping half, and I think you guys decide to hold. For those y'all don't know, we've been in Robinhood for a long time. We're early private investors in the company. So and
So
we've been
Evil
with
Genius
a good.
007 just had a comment. Call me when Fortune 500 companies start offering 401ks on Robinhood. And I get the point, right? That that's where the bulk of most people's savings go. Um, but I've never invested in like with a like I've got a 401k. I guess it's not that big, but it's like at Vanguard, I think. And I don't think people use that to decide where they're going to personally invest. And I think people are going to be more active personal investors alongside their 401ks going
Yeah,
Yeah,
forward.
I
I
think
would
that's what
agree with
Robinhood has
you.
done. It's they've opened up investing to something beyond just the money that your company has this account and you don't really know or care about it. Now it's becoming something that everyone cares about. And if you were first introduced to investing through Robinhood, that's my thesis is they have so much upside because these smaller accounts that are people just starting out are only going to grow.
Look, and not
Yeah,
everybody works for a big, large corporation, right? And so if you're a business owner or if you are an employee at a smaller company, then perhaps you are just running an IRA, right? And then you're not going to run an IRA out of I mean, you might run it out of Vanguard, but you probably want something a little bit, better mobile technology that you can, get in and see a little bit easier. And so you're probably going to go with a Robinhood or a TD or a Schwab or something like that.
yeah. Like I said, they're gonna get their piece. They're gonna get their piece, and then if they don't screw this up more than they have, they're gonna get a pretty big piece of it. We know that.
Look, I mean, we
Going
had
forward,
some
they already
pretty
have.
unprecedented trading, right? So, like some things that don't generally happen in normal markets over the past couple of years, and it helped drive their growth, but it also created some sticky situations for them, right? That they probably didn't really predict could possibly happen, and they happened a few times.
Totally. Jordan, I don't want to hold you. I mean, you got to run. You have. For those who don't know, we do a lot of
Well,
meetings
I don't have
with
to go until I get this
startups.
phone call commit. So, I mean, my 10:30 might
Okay.
not call in. You never know.
Oh,
It's all
sweet.
it's
Uh,
potluck.
can I read something really quick on Tap? Because I know people were upset I didn't discuss Tap last week on the show because I hadn't. I've been traveling nonstop, guys. I hadn't had time to digest the earnings call. I did digest it, and I put a little note in our Discord for those of y'all that want to follow me more actively, both through Twitter and through Discord. Like I was in the beverage channel, and I shared my thoughts. I want to read what my thoughts were on Tap and their earnings this last week. Here's what I said. Finally, fully digested the earnings call as expected. Very little new info. Bottom line is we have a show me company that is not able to raise guidance due to one, delayed recovery volume due to the D variant in bars reopening and restaurants. Two, hesitancy on how D variant plays out, which is a headwind to them wanting to increase guidance. Three, inflation headwinds, specifically as it relates to transport. That was a big part of the earnings call. Their cost of delivering beer and alcohol has gone way up, as well as the cost of the ingredients. Four, revenue gap created by the elimination of the economy SKUs, as well as the Coors hard seltzer SKUs. So Molson Coors is making a decision to kind of withdraw somewhat from economy beers and go to premium beers and alcohol drinks that have higher margins. Okay. But that's a costly process because when you remove the old drinks from the shelf, distributors get really upset because people like those beverages. Now you have to switch them to the premium beverages. Long term, that can be a huge win for the company, but short term, it's definitely a hit to the revenue. So that's a net negative right now in the short term. And lastly, massively increased marketing budget to support this transformation to premium SKUs. So combine all those, and now you know why the stock is behaving the way it is. Personally, I don't plan to trade options here due to the market needing the company to prove itself. And with hard numbers prior to rewarding, and that might not happen in the next 30, 60, 90 days. I prefer to hold equity and let these road bumps hopefully resolve themselves over time. My thesis on a strong recovery, Topo Chico Hard Seltzer, and Zoa are still definitely intact, but clouded by these five issues. As previously mentioned, I delevered my position over the past few months, but I'm still very long on Tap. I will keep up with both the trade thesis and risk factors, but I'm moving my limited bandwidth to other social arb trades, as I don't see a whole lot happening here with Tap in the next 30 to 60 days. So yeah, I got my long position. It's not super levered. It's not as big as it was before, but still pretty big. It's one of my largest holdings, and I like the stock for the next 6 months as these issues resolve themselves, hopefully. But it's less of a high conviction trade as it was when I first got in it because of mostly D variant and the company's own decision to pick this moment in time to pull out of economy beverages and move into premium, which is going to be a headwind for the next few months. it is what it is. So we got to change our our strategy as new information comes into light. And this is all new information. D variant is new. It's changed the world. Long term, I'm not sure if D variant is a big deal, but short term, it is a big deal for people traveling and going to concerts. And like look, New York. We just found out today, guys. New York is making you show a vaccine card right before you can get inside of a restaurant now. So like, these things are barriers or perceived barriers to going out and eating and drinking and going to concerts and stuff.
No, totally. And I basically only have some options. They're essentially worthless. They're not even worth trading at this point. But they don't expire until October, so I'm just gonna wait and see on those. People are also asking about Playa. That's the other red area in my portfolio. You have any thoughts on where we are with Playa?
So I sold some of my Playa and then I repurchased a bunch of Playa. I'm kind of like Playa for me is like the ultimate just straight up recovery trade. Obviously, D variant is a negative for Playa. I mean, there's no looking around it. I mean, D variant is definitely a negative for getting Europeans and Canadians to kind of go down to Mexico, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. It's a bump in the road. Do I like Playa any less? No. Do I like them less for the next few weeks to couple months? Yeah, probably a little less right now. And that's why the stock's getting hit. I still have a really strong long position in Playa. It's just not like the it's not like the clear visibility. They're going to crush it, like literally crush it in the next quarter, right? Which is what I thought was going to happen minus for D variant. So D variant just adds this like dark cloud of like confusion of how much is it going to impact travel to those areas? I don't really know. Yeah. Now it's like there's some questions in my thesis.
That's Playa's the one that I held on to. I got rid of all of my travel bounce back stocks, and I was just kind of hoping, I guess, I don't know if it was wise or not, but just thinking that long term, Playa is going to be one of the ones that I would want to be in, where I don't want to be in, Spirit Airlines or American Airlines long term. That's just not for me.
Yeah, I understand that. Like Playa, I still love Playa as a recovery stock, but listen, there are some hurdles here for us with any recovery trade right now. There's some questions. Sometimes it's a matter of how much it would impact the company in real life, but to a larger extent, it's how much it's impacting investor perception of these recovery stocks. So we can argue Playa is still going to crush it or not, but you can't argue the fact that if it's a recovery stock, it's getting knocked the last month, right? And Playa is a recovery stock. TAP is a recovery stock, right? Like it just is. Funko is one of these weird stocks that you can't figure out is it benefit from the recovery or does it get harmed from the recovery because people have time to do other things besides trading Funko pops and buying collectibles. It's in no man's land. Kind of like what was it? Was it Crocs was in the same boat? And I thought about Crocs. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, Crocs is a pandemic stock. Like you want to wear Crocs around your house, but now that we're going out again, no one wants to wear Crocs. I'm like, no. I disagree with that. Crocs was on fire in 2019, and I think it's going to be on fire when people start going out again in the world. Maybe not for everybody, but the Crocs brand is hot, and I stuck with it, and I doubled down into earnings. I'm glad I did. It's been just a hell of a portfolio stock. I hope Funko does the same. I hope Funko is. I think it's still a misread company. By the way, Funko's heavily shorted. I want to say 20% shorted, so it's a meaningful short position as well. So if the thesis ends up being correct on Funko, that short position could turn into another tailwind.
Are you still in Discovery?
No, I keep telling people I've been out of Discovery forever. I might get back into Discovery, but it's a different thesis. My thesis got crushed the second the merger happened, right? So when Discovery did the merger with HBO, that's now an entirely different thing. It's a whole different company. And I had to sell my stock the second that happened because my thesis is no longer valid, because now it doesn't matter necessarily what happens at Discovery. It's part of a much larger entity. So I'll reevaluate that. But I will say this: there are some really, really interesting social arb trades. I wanted to do one today, but I had to, we had to get this TAP episode out with the NFT launch happening today. By the way, excuse me, TAP, Funko, with Funko NFT launch. And Funko earnings are this week as well. So Funko earnings, I think, are coming up on Thursday. So that should be kind of interesting. It's an exciting week for Funko. I'm not playing any options here. I'm just trading straight. Oh no, I do have some options. But they're like in the money options, right? So I'm not speculating on a big move for Funko at all. Like I'm fine holding the stock here and just levering that a little bit through in the money calls. So, but we do have some pure social arb stuff that we're working on.
And tomorrow we have an episode about the massive drought in California and all of the stocks that could affect. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, now's the time to do it.
So Dave, let me show you something. I'm in California, right? And my in-laws have the most beautiful backyard. They're here in Thousand Oaks. And I love sitting out here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And they have this beautiful backyard. It's been so lush and green forever. But because of the drought, all these water restrictions are in place, right? And so all these people are losing their grass. And like, this used to be beautiful grass down here. And now look at it. It's just like,
oh, wow.
You see that? That used to be just so beautiful, dude. Like,
yeah.
And now it's all like, it's just, I mean, you see it. Like, you got to, like, my mother-in-law, sorry, I lost my ear pod here. Hand waters everything here because it just uses less water, and you got to pay water penalties. I mean, it's absolutely nuts what is happening out here with the water restrictions.
And it's a major problem. So we have identified some stock plays based on that information. You got to stay tuned for that.
So we'll be back tomorrow, back to back.
And I think we're back at our normal time. Malibu. So are you going to be in Malibu?
Yeah.
You need to stand in front of some ridiculous water feature for our California drought episode.
Like the
Find something that's just like wasting water. No, like fresh water. Like stand in front of a sprinkler system or something that's just.
I have. There's a pool.
Like a golf course or something.
I don't want to be part of the problem, Dave.
Always be part of the solution.
Well, hey, this would be fun. It's going to be fun to watch the Funko launch, guys. There is a collectibles channel in our dumbmoney.tv /Discord group. So I think let's funnel all of this conversation related to Funko into the collectibles channel. There was already some buzz there the last couple of days, people discussing this. But Len, I think it's fun, man. But by the way, if you really want to do some social arb research on this whole launch, the place to go is the Wax Discord. So there's a Funko channel inside the Wax Discord. Yep. So you buy these Funko packs with cash, but then you could trade them inside of the Wax kind of platform, which gets a little complex, I think. But
it was a little confusing to me, just even trying to figure out, because you have to buy them, but then you have to also have a Wax account for them to go into, and then to see them, you have to download an app for your phone so you can see and manage what you have. It's a little complex, but I'm sure it's something that that just makes us seem like grandpas not knowing how Ethereum works, right?
No, I mean, there's a lot of people that are in on, a lot of people are confused by some of the elements of the way the Wax system works, right? And it is an energy efficient system. I think they're carbon neutral.
Yeah.
So that's a positive, but it's kind of like a standalone kind of closed garden system, right? For the way that you trade, NFTs within it. So, I mean, some people like it, some people don't like it, whatever. Like, this NFT world is going to change quite a bit over the next few years, and everything is going to work out. But right now, I think there'll be a lot of demand. I can't wait to watch this release. I hope to get some of these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle packs, man. If I could just get one pack, that'd be cool. I don't know. It's 2 p.m. Eastern is when it
2 p.m.
goes live,
Eastern.
guys.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
like, how hard is it going to be? And literally, do you just go to that page and hit refresh? Is it the same page that they have up right now? I'm trying to figure out where to go so I even know which page to refresh.
It is. It's that page, and it says buy, but you hit the buy, and it just refreshes the same page.
Yeah.
Honestly, Dave, I think it's going to be next to impossible. There's so many bots on this thing. I think the packs are going to instantly be selling for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times whatever they normally cost. I could see them selling for $100 plus on the secondary market. It's a really easy way for people to flip and make money. So all these bot, algo like bot guys they're all just gonna try to steal all the packs like they do with everything else.
Yeah.
And it's super frustrating. Does it mean you shouldn't go on there and try? No, you should definitely try. Someone's got to figure out a better way to do this to where
I thought about doing a live stream trying to get a pack, but like the chances of that just being a disappointment, like hitting refresh and not being able to get anything. I was like, like the title of the video could have been, I'm buying as many turtles as I can, and like I don't think we'd even be able to get one. So
totally.
So I scrapped that idea.
Totally. Oh my God! Someone just said your show's mentioned in my TD Ameritrade news. Funko shares mark recent high on spike in volume and dumb money streaming on YouTube. Is that true? Wait, is Funko up right now because of this show again? I hate it when people buy this stuff because of our show. I'm like, no, it's not. It's down 50. I think he's talking about last time it went up.
Oh, yeah, that's possible because here it is. The chart right now, it's just been on a slide today.
Yeah.
We went on the air at around.
It opened up.
10.
No, it was opened up in the pre-market above 20 and then slid. And the only thing I could think of, Dave, is that it was sliding on that New York. All the other recovery stocks are sliding on the concept of vaccine cards being required, retailers potentially being an inhibitor to people actually shopping at retail. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. But who knows? Funko is a volatile company. Like, this is not one for the weak at heart, right? Like, this is a speculative play because it's a company that if these Funko Pops lose interest, you'll see this company get crushed. Crushed. I mean, they do have Loungefly, right? But for the most part, it's a one-trick pony when it comes to Funko Pops, right?
Pretty much. I mean, it's a collectible. If collectibles go out of favor, which I don't see happening, it would kill them.
No. There is a Gary V TikTok that came out like maybe yesterday that I thought was so brilliant. And it basically was talking about how it's a generational thing. If you don't understand NFTs or digital collectibles, like you don't get that, you're just not understanding that, yes, it's not for everyone. It's not even for everyone of the next generation. But he's like, there's a percentage of people that moving forward would prefer to spend their money on a cool framed video arcade game box from the 80s or 90s that's meaningful to them than a painting from the 1800s. And he's like, it's part of a cultural shift that's happening, and it's just part of it. And he's like, he thinks collectibles and the interest in collectibles is here not just to stay, but it will grow over, as a generational growth engine. I agree. As you guys know, I bought a big interest in Collecticon, a company that I'm kind of helping to launch. It's a collectibles show that Dave and Jordan, I think, are coming into as well. And I'm a big, big believer in the collectibles segment. That's why I have, even in the digital collectibles, that's why I have my CryptoPunks. Yeah, I'm proud of them now, man. Those CryptoPunks they're just crushing it. So I don't wear a Rolex, but I have a CryptoPunk because that's where and granted, watches go up in value too, right? I mean, a lot of those watches go up.
No, there is actually a headline right now. It's a Benzinga article. Funko shares mark recent high on spike in volume as Dumb Money's Chris Camillo. Oh, pop-up ad. On YouTube, idea for
That's
stock
old.
as a long. But no, it says August 3rd, 11:13 a.m.
Oh, mark recent high on spike in volume. Like a volume spike? I don't even understand. It's not hitting a high.
No, it hit a volume spike though. It's a headline-only article. How did they even figure out? How did their headline like robot figure out that we were talking about it and there was some change in the volume? That's
Dude,
a
those
smart
guys
robot.
at Benzinga, they are resourceful and they got their eyes on everything, man. Benzinga eyes are all over the place. I love it. Okay, well, Dave, I got to run because I am on family vacation, and I think the family's probably waking up right now.
Have a good vacation. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll see all of you right back here tomorrow for the next Dumb Money Live.